Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Over the years, I've become synonymous with my reviews on Disney Channel TV series. Whatever Disney Channel had on, I was reviewing on YouTube. Ever before that, I would go on YouTube and I would watch reviews that people would upload on my favorite TV shows like Jessie, Bunked, Girl Meets World, whatever Disney Channel was promoting of whatever generation I was a huge fan of. But I felt as if the reviews on YouTube weren't living up to my criteria of being a Disney fan. So I launched my YouTube channel. I took the liberty of uploading my own reviews on TV shows, and over the years I became synonymous for my reviews on shows like Jessie and Bunked. In particular, I noticed that the views from my Jessie videos were skyrocketing, and Jessie was one of the TV series that I gave a profound amount of credit for having made me famous overnight on YouTube for reviewing Cameron Boyce, Peyton List, Debbie Ryan, and being a huge fan of all the cast members of Jessie, for how much of a profound impact that TV series would go on to have on our hearts. One thing I noticed about Jessie was Disney promoted that unbelievably. They never stopped promoting Jessie. There was always, if there ever was an opportunity on Disney Channel to air a Jessie advertisement, you would see that advertised during a 2-minute commercial break on Disney Channel, and they were always hyping up new episodes of Jessie years ago, which is why I remember the TV series Jessie's finale being so emotional in 2015. I couldn't believe the series was ending after so many memories had been created and given to us because of characters portrayed by Cameron Boyce. He really brought Luke Ross to life in a way that I don't think anybody would have ever been able to do it. And not only did he bring the best out of himself, but he brought the best out of everybody he worked with. I remember how emotionally connected and how much he thought over Peyton List and how much she thought over him likewise. The feeling was pretty much mutual. And I remember the chemistry between the two of them as brother and sister on that TV series. It was off the charts. It was really outstanding to me. And I remember when Cameron Boyce passed away in July of 2019, how emotionally overcome she was with emotion, and her emotional tribute that she posted on Twitter at the time before she parted ways with the Disney company. It was beyond emotional because she just wanted the world to know how she felt about Cameron Boyce and how much she dearly missed him. And I remember my heart going out to Peyton List. I remember giving my heartfelt condolences to her during this very difficult time of everybody having to deal with the death of Cameron Boyce, because I always believed that nobody should ever have to go through this at such a young age. Nobody should have their life taken from them at the age of 20 years old, because at 20 years old, what do you know? Do you know where you're going? Do you know what you want to get the most out of life for? I really don't think anybody knows at that point where they're going or where they're headed. But I really felt for these stars, and I started uploading a bunch of Cameron Boyce tribute videos years ago, and I became synonymous for my Cameron Boyce tribute videos for being some of the most popular of all time. Because it was undeniable, the chemistry that Cameron Boyce brought to whatever TV set he was a part of. Jessie, Bunked, Descendants, of course, one of his most revered roles was Carlos, the son of Cruella de Vil, who we all love dearly. The one thing I noticed about Cameron Boyce on the set of the TV show Jessie was he had fun with whatever opportunity he had to make the most of. I remember a Halloween special they did where they went inside of a haunted mansion. I believe the cast of Descendants partook in a special event Disney World had going on at that time. And it came his time to go inside of this haunted house, and I remember him having so much fun with the role. He really brought it to life in a way that no other cast member of Descendants was able to do. Dove Cameron kind of just did it for the sake of doing it, and Sophia Carson just kind of did it for the hell of it. But he really made the most of it. And I think a lot of people loved that video. They must have watched it thousands of times on YouTube. I think it had like 65,000 watches or something on YouTube. It was really crazy. But I do notice him having so much fun out of any cast member of whatever TV set he was a part of. And he really made the most of the opportunity to play Luke Ross on that TV series, because the chemistry between the cast members were really off the charts. And while all the other cast members seem to have went off the rails, with Peyton List and Cameron Boyce being some of the exceptions, I think that Cameron Boyce really kept a positive image and really had his heart and did everything with an open heart and an open mind, and really had his heart into everything that he did. And I think that's where a profound amount of respect needs to be shown for someone like Cameron Boyce, because he will never ever be forgotten. And I've given you my word that as long as I have a heartbeat, Cameron Boyce's memory will live on eternally and forever on this YouTube channel for his contributions to shows like Jessie and Bunked and everything he gave to the Descendants franchise. While it will be argued for forever that they should have stopped making Descendants movies and left it at a trilogy following the passing of Cameron Boyce and that emotional tribute at the end of the Descendants trilogy, with Cameron Boyce's tribute being in the credits, I think that where Descendants is right now is exactly what Cameron Boyce would have wanted to have had happen for the trilogy. And I think that the Rise of Red stars are doing a fabulous job, carrying on his legacy and carrying on the legacy that's been left behind by the original Descendants cast, because this is exactly where we wanted to see Descendants get, and this is exactly what we wanted to have happen for the franchise that has forever and always meant so much to our hearts. Cameron Boyce would be incredibly proud of everything that Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, Ruby Rose Turner have done for this franchise, and I think that Cameron Boyce's contributions to Disney as a whole will never ever be forgotten, and that's exactly what I'm here to do as I shoot videos every day out of this office, every day for the rest of my life, because that's what you guys have deserved. If we're going to talk about Cameron Boyce, we're going to talk about Cameron Boyce in the way that Cameron Boyce was meant to be talked about, because I remember how emotional his death was and how much of a profound impact it had on everybody's hearts. I remember everybody being reduced to tears. They couldn't make sense of why this happened at such a young age. But you see, that's the thing about life. We don't know if we're coming or going in this life. Every day that we wake up, we don't know how precious, valuable time really is, because time really is a commodity. And that's what the Rise of Red taught us, was just how valuable and how precious of a commodity time actually is, because time always runs out and it never fails to run out. It's all about the time that we are allocated, how much time we have, and what we do with the time that we are allocated and we are given. We can spend that time telling people we love them. We can spend that time trying to fix mistakes and leave a legacy behind, because that's all I've ever wanted to do, like the stars of Jessie wanted to do. They wanted to leave a legacy behind, and undoubtedly they're going to, and they're going to go down in history for being some of the greatest of all time. I'll tell you guys a little story about how I've wanted to go down in history for being the greatest of all time for forever. That's why I created this YouTube channel, so I would leave a legacy behind. I would love to go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time for my reviews on TV shows like Jessie, because they meant so much to my heart. I remember growing up with that TV show, Jessie. I remember being so inspired by Peyton List and how full of life she was and how exuberant she became on a show like Cobra Kai. She kicked a lot of ass on that TV show. I give her a profound amount of credit and enough shout-outs on this show to let her know how I feel about that, because she took a character, Tony Nichols, and she really brought her to life on that TV series, and just showed how fearless a person could be and how much further a person's dreams could go on that TV series. And in the 7 seasons we saw of Cobra Kai, I think we really saw a metamorphosis of Peyton List, and something she really wanted to have happen for her after seemingly having to live inside of a box on the set of a TV show like Jessie and attend school at the same time, because when you weren't filming TV shows, you had to attend school off the set, and that was challenging enough. I remember how much pressure Emily Osment was under years ago, attending a public school and filming Hannah Montana, and that's so much pressure, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much pressure these stars were under. And I remember feeling so bad for Emily Osment years ago, having to endure what she had to endure. But it just goes to show how much dedication people like Emily Osment and Peyton List brought to their work ethic, because they were not only exemplifying work ethic on the show of Jessie and Bunked, they were exemplifying work ethic off the set, because they were trying to get an education. And they went on to achieve so much more than every critic out there who reviewed shows like Jessie and Bunked, who they were very fond of, than ever before. And that's what I gave the cast of Jessie a profound amount of respect for, was how they didn't care how people felt about them. Cameron Boyce was somebody, I remember at a young age, when he would do these interviews, these PR tours for Jessie and Bunked, and he was so appreciative of every time he had the opportunity to stand in front of a microphone and tell us how he felt about being a part of such an appreciative cast. Because that's the vibe that I got off the TV series Jessie, was just how appreciative everybody was to be in the moment they were a part of. No matter what episode they were filming of Jessie and Bunked, they had the time of their life doing it. I remember the Halloween special for one of the very first seasons of Jessie, and it was a really good script, it was a really good story, and they had so much fun really bringing it to life. The special effects were on par, the criteria of the performance level was at an all-time high, and the energy in the room was surely unbelievable. I think this was one of the most talented casts, from the Butler to Debbie Ryan to Peyton List to Cameron Boyce, that had ever been brought forth for a Disney Channel TV series, or TV series in general. Because forever and always, the cast of Victorious will present the argument of being the most talented and the most vibrant cast that we ever saw for a kids' TV series in 2012. By 2012, it was undeniable the success of the TV series Victorious, going on to win Favorite Kids TV Show that year at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. But I think that a TV series like Jessie won its fair share of accolades because of the perseverance of this cast, and how they didn't care how anybody thought of them. All they wanted to be were themselves, and they did the best they could to bring this TV series to life. Everything about that TV series was so cool. Robbie's pet lizard was so exuberant and very unpredictable. We didn't know what he was going to do from one moment to the next. Of course, Debbie Ryan was always caught up in some debacle from episode to episode. And I also remember how emotional Debbie Ryan was about everything she did, from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on deck when the boat docked and they graduated, and it was just an emotional send-off for the cast of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. After so many years of a contribution, so much of a wonderful story being told on Disney Channel. And I remember how Debbie Ryan said she wasn't ready to go. And Disney had this project called Jessie ready for her to be a part of, and she was so excited, and she was ever more so obliging to be a part of it. And she really made the most of this opportunity because this was her time to shine. This was really her breakout role. This was what was going to make her stand out like an Ashley Tisdale character on Disney Channel, and she really made the most of it because, of course, she came in as the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody's replacement for Ashley Tisdale after so many contributions as Natty on that show for so many years. I remember how fond Ashley Tisdale was of that role and how much of an opportunity she looked at it for being, because, again, that was a breakout role along with Sharpay Evans on High School Musical and Phineas and Ferb as Candace, the reboot. I'm really happy seeing her back on Disney Channel. Again, I really believe that in years to come we are going to hear a discussion about the possibility of a reunion for Jessie, because if we can get to a point where a Good Luck Charlie reunion can happen for Disney Channel, so too can a reunion for Jessie. Obviously it will be done without Cameron Boyce, but I think that you can't do a reunion for a TV show like Jessie without honoring Cameron Boyce's legacy. And I would love to see them get to a point where they would do a TV show reunion where they would talk about Cameron Boyce for probably 20 minutes of that hour-long reunion we would see uploaded to YouTube. Because I remember watching the E.T. reunion for Good Luck Charlie and it being uploaded to YouTube, and how many fond memories they talked about, along with all the memories they would talk about from filming a show like Jessie. I would love to see them contribute probably 25 minutes to just talking about Cameron Boyce and going in depth about what it was like to work with him, his personality, what have you, because I really do believe his memory is never ever going to be forgotten. No matter if you're a fan of Jessie, Bunk, Descendants, you always remember Cameron Boyce, and I think his name has never failed to come up in conversations. And that's one thing that I see very fondly about the cast of Jessie, was how they forever and always held on to the memories Cameron Boyce left them with. I remember Debbie Ryan's tweet on Twitter at the time about Cameron Boyce's death in 2019, and she was so emotionally overcome, she was really at a loss for words, because she remembered the contributions of him and how fun it was to work with him on the set of Jessie and how fun it was to work with everybody. I remember how much of a struggle it was for Peyton List to come to terms with the idea of not being able to wear bikinis on the set of Jessie, how she felt like she was living inside of a box, how she had struggles with her vision in high school, how she had struggles learning different concepts in high school, but she was able to overcome all of it because Jessie provided her with an opportunity to finally really reintroduce herself to a whole new global audience. Because by the time Jessie had come on Disney Channel, we were coming into a new generation, and Disney was really going through this metamorphosis and this evolution, which was really, really cool to see happen, because we were moving out of shows like Hannah Montana and High School Musical, which had really become the backbone of Disney Channel, and we were moving into a generation that was highlighted by Girl Meets World and Jessie and Bunk for their contributions, and Liv and Maddie. By 2013, Liv and Maddie had premiered on Disney Channel, and it exploded in popularity because of Dove Cameron. So too did Jessie because of Debbie Ryan, Peyton List, Cameron Boyce, one of the most talented casts of all time. I don't care how many arguments you can present about how popular a show like Liv and Maddie was or Descendants was. I think Jessie was really what got it started for all these other franchises to follow in their footsteps, because Jessie was a show that taught us valuable life lessons and really allowed us to put our lives into perspective and really made us think about, this miraculous lifestyle that these stars were living. Could it be true? And could it be happening for each and every one of us? Could we have a chance to be on Disney Channel just like our favorite stars? I think what Disney tries to perceive this lifestyle for being is not exactly what it is, because of course you feel like you live inside of a box. There are things you can and you can't do. You can't leak certain photos, afraid of how different set props and stuff will be leaked to the audience, because they don't want to, you to know what's happening on Disney Channel. So everything has to be approved by a social media department. I've always and forever believed that something can be done about that, because I think that puts a lot of pressure on the shoulders of stars who just want to come off as positive images and present positive vibes for everybody. I think that being afraid to post a photo on social media is completely ridiculous. It is totally uncalled for, because I think that your time on Disney Channel should be a time that you remember and that you always want to talk about. I've noticed in podcast interviews for cast members of Jessie, even with Saria Jackson now, she's someone that doesn't want to really talk about her Disney past because of everything that recently happened with her. Of course, she was put under arrest for different things she did, and of course everything that she did because of her consequences of her actions, she kind of shies away from. I know Dove Cameron does the same thing too. She shies away from answering questions about her Disney past because it's a time in her life she doesn't want to remember. So it kind of gives me a lot of doubt about how Disney treated them, which is why I forever and always will advocate for your favorite stars and support them in ways that I think they've been forever deserving of being talked about. Because I think that if you're talking about a TV series like Jessie and Bunked, you should talk about a TV series like Jessie and Bunked. I mean, Bunked was the first TV series in a long time to have 7 seasons produced. No other Disney Channel TV series got to the point where 7 seasons were produced. Now, I know it was under the direction of a new cast and a new producer, but for the time Pamela O'Connell brought this TV series to life, I think from the very first moment, the very first pilot episode of Bunk premiere, which was actually on the same night that the Descendants premiere happened on July 31st, 2015, Bunk followed by Descendants. I think they knew this TV series had a lot of potential, and there was always the opportunity to see new cast members be introduced into the franchise. And I really wish Disney would have had the same incentive with TV series like Hannah Montana and High School Musical, because a story like High School Musical could have had endless amounts of chapters written for it, endless amounts of cast members. You didn't really have to have the story always revolving around Troy Bolton and Gabriela Montez. I think it was because of the rarity of these stars and the reputation they had garnered. It didn't feel right to have different stars be a part of a movie or a TV series, and that's why High School Musical, the series, didn't last very long. It was a TV series that ended long before its time. There was just something with Troy Bolton, Gabriela Montez, and Sharpay Evans that really meant so much to High School Musical's history and so much to that story. But I really do believe, and I will forever present the argument, that TV shows like Bunked and TV series like High School Musical, the series, could have been series that we could have seen endless amounts of storylines created, endless amounts of cast members created for it. And I think it all started with Jessie and how much profound impact it had on our hearts, because people like Peyton List learned so much so quickly and ultimately became stronger and more fierce people and never really cared what people thought of her. The photo shoots that Peyton List are a part of now, she's gone professionally as a model. She looks absolutely beautiful. She has an outstanding future ahead of her, and I want each and every one of you to know who are fans of Jessie out there that I support you being a fan of Jessie, and I'm here to tell you guys that there is nothing wrong with that, because if you are a fan of Jessie, I am just like each and every one of you. I see the potential in a TV series like Jessie. I understand why the ratings were so high for it, because every single episode of Jessie was so funny. And it was just so fun to be a part of. I think so many memories were created because of a TV show's contributions like Jessie. And I think if not for its success and stars like Cameron Boyce being a part of this cast, we would have never seen Jessie get to the point that it did. Because Jessie got to a point where it was so revered. And it never failed to be in a conversation about anything having to do with Disney. I mean, everybody remembered Jessie. Everybody remembered being a fan of it. And I think because of its success, that's why Descendants happened. And that's why Descendants became so revered, because so many people remembered the contributions of stars like Debbie Ryan and how much this TV series meant to her. I remember when Jessie gave its emotional send-off and Debbie Ryan was going on to pursue other projects, she said she would never forget the memories that Jessie presented her with and created for her, because Jessie created so many wonderful memories that I think people are still talking about. I think if you're a fan of a TV series and your friend was a fan of the same TV series you were, I think there was never been a conversation where you didn't talk about a TV show like Jessie or Girl Meets World, because they were a part of a generation. Because the reality of this is Disney will never have stars like we've seen come through the doors of Disney like they had before, because it's really been a revolving door of stars ever since stars like Debbie Ryan and Peyton List parted ways with Disney. It's been a revolving door, and you've kind of been left wondering if these stars are really going to live up to the criteria of, say, a Miley Cyrus or Selena Gomez. It will never happen again. Disney will never have stars like this ever again, and that's why it's such an honor for me to have talked about these stars as much as what I have, and really chosen to give them the benefit of the doubt, because when you're presenting a review of a TV series like Jessie, I really do believe as if there is never enough nice things that can be said about a TV series that meant so much to everybody's hearts, because what I think about is you watching the video and what you want to get the most out of my video. So if I can upload a video about Jessie or Bunked and show it the prestige and the honor and give it the gratitude that it deserves, then it's the greatest honor of my life, because there's a way to criticize something, but you have to do it constructively. And what that means is provide nice criticism that people can appreciate, because they too remember being a fan of Jessie, because I know you're watching this video because you are a fan of Jessie. You want to see a reboot. You want to see a reunion. I do too. I just don't know when it's going to happen. If I knew a reunion for Jessie was going to be happening, I want to let you guys know that I would be fully supportive of it, because I think that if you can get to a point where Good Luck Charlie can have an ET reunion with all the cast members doing a Zoom conversation, so too can you for Jessie, because Jessie meant so much to so many hearts. It became so revered, and I think never enough nice things can be said about a TV series like Jessie because of its ratings, because of its reviews, because I remember on IMDb.com and RottenTomatoes.com, people could never give it enough praise, and people could never stop interviewing the cast. And I remember the cast being so appreciative of talking about the moments. I remember a time when they were talking about the lizard having an accident on stage, and everybody just fell in love with that moment because it was a moment that always resonated with them. And that's the thing about these Disney Channel TV series, with how much criticism the writers and producers receive for having a strict environment. The strict environment turned around to be something positive for everybody who was a part of it, because they learned so much, and they learned so much so quickly because they learned how to adapt. They attended school off the set of TV shows like Jessie when they weren't filming, and they learned so much so quickly, and they were able to bring it to life because of it. And that's why the contributions of people like Cameron Boyce and Peyton List will never ever be forgotten, having made them stronger individuals. I know it was a strict environment, but the thing about Disney is Disney does not forget about your contributions. They never gave up on Miley Cyrus. They never forgot about her contributions. And many, many years later, she was honored as the youngest Disney legend in history. And that really just showed how far Miley Cyrus went, because she could sing any song. She could make the most of any opportunity as an actress. I know she chose music over acting eventually, but that was her decision, and I respect it. But the thing is, I think that if you can have Miley Cyrus presented as the youngest Disney legend in history, so too can you create that same argument for stars like Peyton List, Cameron Boyce, because of how much of a contribution they made to a TV series like Jessie and how revered it became. So I just wanted to honor Jessie this morning, because I know Cameron Boyce meant so much to each and everybody's heart. Of course, he will never ever be forgotten, and there are more Cameron Boyce tribute videos on the way on this YouTube channel in due time. Of course, I have to upload the video, I have to film it, I have to edit them, but there will be more Cameron Boyce tribute videos coming your way on this YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to think about doing that, because I have a lot to say where TV shows like Jessie, Girl Meets World, Phineas and Ferb go, because I was a huge fan of Disney Animation too on Disney Channel. I remember the Toon Block on Disney Channel every afternoon when I get home from high school, and I remember throwing my book bag down on the floor and watching Disney Channel every before I do my homework, and I think we were all victims of that because we were addicted to Disney Channel. I remember being addicted to cartoons in the 90s, and it was so fun for me growing up as a millennial, having the chance to see the Power Rangers and having the chance to see Pokemon be as popular as it was. And I remember the Toon Block on Disney Channel every afternoon and being so addicted to shows like Darkwing Duck and Aladdin and The House of Mouse, and then seeing Disney move in out of that into live-action TV shows like Hannah Montana, High School Musical, Raven's Home. Beautiful. That's So Raven. Beautiful TV shows that came off as such inspirations to so many wonderful people. And Jessie will forever present the argument for being one of the greatest and most revered TV shows of all time. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to go ahead and upload this video right now to my YouTube channel. Again, I never know how much of a reach these videos are going to have, but I know my videos on Jessie get hundreds of views, so I can only hope this video will reach out and touch the hearts of so many people who can remember being fans of it, and fans of stars like Cameron Boyce, whose contributions will never ever be forgotten. I will return later on this afternoon with a third video to be uploaded on my YouTube channel. Perhaps we'll do some conversation about Rapunzel and the upcoming live-action Tangled, because I know that's creating a lot of conversation. Reportedly, production of that has picked up again. I'll have more to say on that this afternoon. I hope you will join me for it. I'm going to go ahead and upload this video to my YouTube channel now. Be kind to each other, because kindness really does go a long way in this world.